to Chairman Mgonda, I've said it to some, is that there appears to be a hesitation from you to resolve this question. That whenever there is opportunity for that conversation to happen, you look for excuses for that conversation not to happen. Chairman, if the National Land Commission has invited you, and you have rightly said they are the ones who should be able to resolve this question, even if they call you today or tomorrow, honestly speaking, what is wrong with appearing before the National Lands Commission?
What we have no objection, but
you are saying it should come through you. The invitation should come through you.
No, I'll give you the reason why we are still discussing of it. The letter, we received it on Saturday in the evening, not a working day. And it never came through the official channel. It came through someone.
Senator Wambua.
Please, Chairman, you are representing the Chairman. Please let's make progress on this matter.
Yes.
Are you disputing the contents of this letter?
We are not disputing. We can avail ourselves anytime.
Are you disputing the contents of this letter?
We are not disputing.
You are not disputing?
We are not disputing.
Then if you are disputing, what is the problem?
We will appear.
The problem is how it came to you. I mean, really, surely. This is a serious matter.
Yes.
Please, let's make progress on this matter, Chair. Please.
Yes, we will appear before it.
Chair. Senator Chute.
Yes, I want to ask Chair a specific question. Question number one. All these years, our friends have been paying some kind of a rent. I want to know, they were paying to who? Number one. Number two, the governor has just said that he's giving houses to the former tenants. What is his take on this? Is he agreeing to it or not?
We don't refuse.
Chair.
But one thing, we are not trusting the Nairobi County government. They don't honor their promises.
The first question is, you've been paying rent. You've been paying to who? Which institution?
Nairobi County government.
So now you are telling us...
You know, Chair, I just want to... Chair, just let me make this point.
Please, go ahead, Senator.
That I would very much want. You know,
yes.
One of the things you have not told the Chair is that this dispute arose in the 80s. I think it's 1987. Your senator was 5 years. Senator Eddie, who is chairing, I don't think he was born yet. We want to resolve this question once and for all. Yes. Before I leave this Senate,
yes, I
want to be able to have resolved this. And I'm sure there is a commitment on the part of the county government also to make sure that there is finality.
Yes.
And because this is a house of records, the governor has said certain things, and I want him to say themselves regarding that question of ownership. But what I wanted to request, these are constitutional bodies that are mandated to settle these disputes.
Yes.
Disputes regarding land ownership, you have rightly identified to be the National Land Commission.
Yes.
I want to make a request, a very passionate request to you, that just the way you have been cooperating with this committee, whenever we call you, I don't hear you complaining about notice, about who has brought the letter. I send text messages to you directly, all of you here.
Yes.
Just appear and make your case, because Chair, sometimes I get so frustrated. And Chairman, I want you to address this because I've spoken to you directly. It doesn't matter what somebody calls a meeting. If you call Sifuna into a meeting and I know that I don't agree with certain positions, it doesn't matter what you call it. I will go there and say what I want to say. That is why you saw me asking the chair from Maringo whether they were present in these meetings and whether they were allowed to say the things they are telling us now. How is it that the Senate is the only environment where you people can say these things? Do you want us, the Senate, this Senate, do you want us to transform ourselves into the National Land Commission, into the courts, into the Nairobi County government, so that you can have honest conversations?
Yes.
Do you want this chair? Because when Senator Crystal was asking you, what do you want us to do so that we can resolve this crisis? Do you want this committee to be present physically in your meetings with the county government, or what is it that you want so that we can resolve this question?
We'll appear before the National Lands Commission.
Chair.
Yes.
I'm listening.
Yes.
there is no way. There's something called reality check.
Yes.
Where you find yourself now,
Yes.
there is no way you avoid the Nairobi County government.
Yes.
It's not possible.
Yes.
And I empathize. I've been talking about this both at the level of government, national and county government, that constantly we see a loss of trust with the government in both sides. It's an unfortunate situation, where the population loses trust for whichever reason. And I don't want to get into the transactions that have been between you and the county government, whether it's right or wrong. But for whichever reason, we constantly have a population that is constantly losing trust with the county government and sometimes also with the national government. It's an unfortunate state of affairs because it is the Nairobi government that is transactioning, in this case, with the developers.
Yes.
And the reason why I ask you about session paper number 3 is because you are also agreeing that there was, whether it is substantively understood so, or whether it is a misguided understanding, there is some understanding that the payments that were happening in that tenancy agreements were towards the ownership of the land of some sort.
Yes.
The governor has equally been very clear, and if I quote you wrong, Governor, you can correct me on your responses, that once these developments are done, the residents will be given the houses for free. And they say that that free is not an issue of being free because you had been paying rent over time, and you've been members of this estate for over time.
Yes.
So there is an understanding there that we're not appreciating.
Yes.
So what I want to request you, because I've read the letter that Senator Sifuna has referred to here, what I want to request you first of all is to make sure that you engage with the county government. Number 2, make sure that you engage with the National Land Commission. And perhaps do us a favor to update us on what that conversation has been. Because while the Senator of Nairobi says that we cannot transform ourselves into National Land Commission and the courts, we also, because we work for the people, you sent us to these houses. Senator Sifuna is your representative. He talks on behalf of you. He has got no interest talking on behalf of the government of Nairobi, unless he's talking about issues of RMLF and how we get money to the government of Nairobi. You represent them. We actually have the convening power to actually facilitate a conversation between you and National Land Commission if it's an adversarial one. But the first thing, you must show goodwill and go to those meetings. If it becomes difficult, I can assure you that this Senate is committed to get this issue done. We can be able to invite the National Land Commission, invite you, and invite the county government in a multi-stakeholder conversation. But first of all, we need, I don't know whether to say is to restore that trust, because we can't. But we need that engagement to continue.
Yes, we will.
So please listen to Senator Sifuna and engage with the National Land Commission. Appear there, say what you need to say, be firm, update the Senate.
Yes.
Is that a good place to finish your presentation? I can go to the next.
We agree. I agree with it.
Thank you.
In total.
Can I go to Jericho Fafa?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Again, my name is John Mgoda. I am the chairman of Ofafa Jericho Residents Association. Chair, there is a danger of a driver arriving at his destination without passengers. I say this, and I would like to avoid emotions. We have had an extremely difficult moment dealing with the county government. And as an alternative, that is why we find ourselves in this honorable Senate. Difficulties in the sense, I have had public participation meetings being referred to many times. I've been before this Senate. Chair, in Ofafa Jericho, we are still in ground zero. Ground zero for the reason that the meeting of 12 February 2021, which was held just before the Lumumba one, was at the height of COVID. It was held at the Jericho Hall at the height of COVID. But what was the essence of that meeting? First, to form associations that will act as a bridge between the people of Jericho and the county government. Thereafter, any other meeting that has been held was without the public. It was only the committee that meant the principal officers of the county government. And guess what? Anytime they came to those meetings, notices which I have here don't read like invitations for public meetings, public participation meetings. All they stated is, we are coming to update you on the progress. And hang on, when were we ever involved? These are the first days that from 2019 COVID time, 2021 we start meetings. You're telling us to form associations, meet your people for public participation, but they don't come in public participation. Somebody has been mentioned here from the county government, Mr. Kiboi, will stand with me as a witness against his own employer. They never used to come to us with seeking our views, even as their own public participation guidelines say.
Just a moment, John. I don't mean to interfere with your thought process. I like the way you are presenting, but you've mentioned something here that also I think I guess I also mentioned. The meeting that was held in February 2021 that perhaps encouraged the residents to have associations, form these associations to engage with the county government. And of course it was facilitated by NMS. Is that true?
Yes, Chair.
The two of you, may you just help me understand, was the association formed particularly in anticipation of this renewal and regeneration project?
Correct.
And at that time, were you amenable to it? As in, did you accept the idea of that renewal and regeneration of the estates?
No.
You did not?
No.
Agesa? You did not accept it? Okay, so, sorry? Put yourself on record.
We did not accept it because if you could check on their document, and you check on the one which had for the 1959, there were similar documents.
Okay.
And one was never honored.
Okay.
So we never trusted them to honor this one.
Okay. I just wanted to make that so that we can move together, because
Chair.
that question, I'm going to give you Senator Wambua, but that question, I want to just be clear that the association are not being formed for general engagement with the county, but specifically on this particular project. So that as you present, yes, that is very clear to us.
Yes.
But Senator, I'm going to give you 1 minute, but I want him to continue. I don't want to interfere with this thought process. I just wanted that clarification. But Senator,
just following up on what you're asking, Chair.
Please, yes, please go ahead.
Then the chairs are saying that they were asked to form associations to engage with the county government, right? And you formed those associations. So what are you opposed to?
Now, after forming those associations, we expected the only good thing they would have done, noble thing, is anytime they wanted to meet the residents, they would come through us, and that was the intention. We would create an atmosphere, maybe arrange meetings and stuff like that, so that when they come to the ground, we will have been involved.
So, because again, the conclusions, no, Senator, you've asked a very good question. You're not opposed to the project, at least at a conceptual level, because I think the commission went through. You are not opposed to the project. What is becoming a point of constraint is that the county government is not engaging the associations and the leadership of the association as you had formed them.
They are not engaging us.
They're not engaging the association. Everything you're saying here is what the government must respond to, and we must get to conclusion. So there's issue of not engaging the associations and the association's leadership. Do I get that as an issue?
Both the associations and the subjects.
Okay. So
Chair, just
continue.
let him continue.
So continue,
Chair,
yes, continue.
point of order. Chair,
Yes, Senator Asige.
thank you, Chair. Is it in order, Chair, for us to continue without our member being able to go on record? Because she has walked in and she has tried to catch your eye. But,
Oh,
Chair,
sorry, I was
you are not allowing your eye to be caught.
No, my eye was caught by the, the residents. I apologize about that. I was so focused on this other side. Senator Tobiko, please put yourself on record. I'm sorry about that.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Senator Asige. Chair, my name is Paris Tobiko, member of this committee.
So much, Senator. Sorry, I was so engaged on this side. I didn't notice you coming, but thank you so much for coming to the meeting. So please, John, continue.
Well,
I'll add you
well,
two more minutes.
after the formation of those associations, which definitely were the vehicle to approach these discussions, what followed later was strictly a meeting with the association, or rather the committee members. So we met for about 3 times. But in these 3 meetings we met with the chief officers. In one major meeting, we agreed on certain things. If you allow me to mention, including the name of the officer, Madam Marion, who was there then, she said, after lengthy discussion, she is the one who coined the word renovation. So you people don't want the regeneration project. What you want is renovation. In that case, then, I'll give you 10 days within which you should send in your views about renovation. And she agreed to the fact that there was no demolition that was going to happen, because that was what was going on. And by the way, the threatening language that was used to us, we begin in August to evict you people, August of 2021, when the project was still very young. So in those meetings, at one time, we agreed the minutes of 29th June 2021 should be synchronized, harmonized with those of the county government, so that we can agree to sign one set of minutes. We sent the minutes at first. They were never received. They said they don't have an office. We sent a set of minutes again to City Hall. And when we discovered that they are dodging us, what we did is we used the courier. We used Wells Fargo, and we used the G4S to deliver those draft minutes. To date, and they are in some of the files that we have given the members of this committee, we gave members of the committee for their ease of reference. Those minutes have never been signed to date. Now, regarding Jericho in particular, the meeting that was held all over the 13 estates on 25th of May, we held that meeting. Only the county, the estate officer did a speech. We did not allow any of the members of the county government to speak. Why? Because they are going to treat this as a public participation meeting, and we have documented it even before it happened and even after it happened. And in that meeting, we told them, you always come to us to rubber stamp what you have already done in the background. Rubber stamping what? This book, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, is not our product. It is the product of the NMS, and the county government's logo is there. We did not produce this document, and therein lies a lot of information which they themselves have captured. Now, when they failed to sign these minutes, and when that meeting of public participation was called, and we drew their attention to this book, it did not augur well with the residents. And by the way, what happened, there was an altercation, and the officers went to seek refuge in the ward admin's office within Jericho Social Hall. I must mention here that by 12:30, that meeting was in disarray. But we reached out to our Honorable Senator Sifuna, and he stopped what he was doing. He came all the way up to Jericho Hall. And after that, when we explained our case, that is when he realized the grave concerns that we had and arranged for us to come to Senate. We could only seek refuge in the Senate. Why? Even now I've heard you say, Chair, that you will make arrangements for us to meet the governor. I have only met my governor since elections twice, today and last time.
Chair, point of order. Point of order.
Governor, you'll have your time.
No.
Don't.
That's why it's a point of order.
Chair.
Chair.
You're not allowed to have a point of order because you're not a member of this house.
I'm a member.
You are a member, but I will make sure. I will make sure. Governor,
It costs you nothing to hear me.
Governor, just a moment. Let him just finish.
Chair,
once he finishes, I'm gonna make sure that I give you a right of response.
Of course, I'm responding to everything that
yes,
I've said.
But
you don't know what I want to ask.
No. The reason why I'm saying this is because when he's presenting, I want him just to finish his presentation. Then I come to you. I'm going to give you a chance to be able to ask. Can you just finish your presentation, John? Because you've got only about 2 minutes to finish.
I will
allow him to speak. Allow him to speak, please, Chair.
John, go ahead.
And therefore, our views, which we are presenting to you today, and which have been captured in those files in quite some detailed documentation, is that, as Senator Sifuna stated, that there seems to be something here that we either need this to be resolved or not to be. We need it to be resolved like yesterday. But the problem has been, right from the word go, we offered ourselves to come to public participation meetings, which we were never meaningful. And secondly, because you cannot be heard, then the only alternative you have is to seek for alternative institutions that can help you. And that is why we have gone to NLC, because of the land. We believe we own this land, legally so. And we still also understand we legally own these houses as our houses, because they were rent to own a house, as you have already been explained in those documents that you have been given, and as already explained by my Maringo counterpart. Chair, we were going to seek...
You have one more minute.
We were going to seek your indulgence here, that you engage NLC and engage the county government to please hear us out. We are still in square one. We still believe the residents said no to this project. Proper consultations have never been made, and the law has been broken left, right, and center. We live in fear in our estates. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, I wanted to give you a chance to perhaps raise your concern.
Chair, I think next time we have such an engagement, everyone should be on oath. Because there's a lot of disingenuity. Chair, I will share with you a letter, because he says he's met me once or twice, and that they seek audience and they're not getting audience. We invited them for a meeting with me on the 7th of April, 2025. They came and stopped residents from attending the meeting at Charter Hall. Why is he not saying that? You cannot come to the table of equity without, you must have clean hands. So when you call you for the meeting and you come with placards and you threaten others who are registering from attending the meeting, are we really being honest, Chair?
Chair, I think that is why, Governor, I think the guidance of the Chair initially was the correct one, that you allow these people to express themselves. These matters are a motive for everyone. Then during your response, you can even table those problems, because me personally, and I will say this because I don't fear anybody here, I have raised this concern and I've repeated it here, that our chairs appear to be afraid to go to certain meetings because they think, and Governor, you can understand, because one of the issues, Chair, is that...
Your chairs means chairs of the association.
Yes, these chairs.
Yes, not the chairs of the committees.
One of the reasons is that the minutes of those meetings, and this is a matter that I have brought to the attention of the Governor himself, I've written to you myself asking for minutes of his meeting. That is the fear of these county chairs. And it is our responsibility as a leadership to address those fears so that we can actually unlock this dispute. So, Chair, I think you had guided properly. Let the chairs finish. Let the chairs finish. I think we only have 2 more to go, and they have more to say. We have not even gotten to Woodley. Bado tujatoka Eastlands.
So I think we have got 2 more. Thank you, John, for your presentation. And Governor, just as I said, actually the way the meeting is going is actually the way it confirms that you're on trial. It's not the other way around where one must rebut the other. But I think that just take note. I'm going to give you sufficient time to respond to some of the concerns that are raised. Let me go to. Let me actually go to Woodley. Let me go to Woodley because I want to mix this. The gentleman, you're from Ofafa, right?
Yes.
Yes. Ofafa has just been represented by the chair.
Yeah, but I want to ask before you go to Woodley, there's some information that you are lacking. Governor is lacking, Senator is lacking, but if it's known, then these discussions will be even more easier to solve.
How many minutes do you need to tell me the information?
2-3 minutes.
I'll give you 2.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone in the room. I have stayed in Maringo since 1962. I was 5 years old. We were the first alpha in Nairobi. Now we are moving out, leading to other alpha. What I want to say is this. 1974, His Excellency Mwai Kibaki, and I want Sifuna to help us on this. 1974, Mwai Kibaki, His Excellency, our late, he went to Parliament, passed about owning these houses, and it went first reading, it went second reading, then there was going to be an election. So Kibaki left, went to Othaya, and those 2 readings are still in Parliament. Honorable Sifuna, can you go and look for these hazards? Because it is one of the documentary evidence, supportive documentary evidence in what we are doing and saying here. Secondly, yes. Secondly, about ownership. I don't know anywhere on this planet someone builds a house without a title, without showing documentary evidence of what you own, and the designs of those houses or whatever you want to build. So when governor says they own the houses, maybe we would like to see the designs that the county government had and the titles to show that they own the land. But they want to own the land in their minds and not following the constitution or any law they have passed. So, Honorable Sifuna, can you go, please? I've tried to get those documents in 1974, the hazard that they passed that we should own the houses. It remained only 1 reading to own.
I will help say Sifuna there very fast, and thank you for the contribution. I didn't even know that his former, His Excellency the former president was involved.
Yes.
But
1974.
Yes. Remind me of your name again.
Honorable Mwai Gakuya.
Yes, Mwai. I wanted to just share with you that in Parliament, when a member wants to pass law and they have brought that proposal in the House and it has gone through first and second reading, and one, it can collapse in those engagements. You know, it can be passed or not passed by members.
It was passed, but
Just let me guide you. Yes. But most importantly, if it wasn't made law, and in that session then it didn't go through, it lapses in that session. So it's very unfortunate. I wish that actually the late president followed this through and made it law. But because it wasn't made law, it would be difficult for Senator Sifuna to go and dig it because he died with that session.
Okay, can you advise me?
Chair, just switch off your mic, Mwai.
Yes, sir.
I want to commit to you. It is very easy to get parliamentary records. The Hansard is there, but what the chair is struggling to tell you is that a law only passes after that third stage. But as to the debate, the record is there. We can always get it for you. So I think, Chair, we can move to the next.
Well, I'll move to Woodley, but I will definitely encourage Senator Sifuna to get us the material. But just in terms of the legal framework, it is if it didn't pass, it died with that session.
What I'm trying to say, Chair, is that those documents in Parliament are part and parcel of supporting documentary
I get it. I get it.
So what I was asking Sifuna, to bring those and then ratili itaanguka. Thank you.
Yeah, but I must, just a moment, I must help you because you seem to be a veteran there. You actually lose more on this conversation when you go to refer to a document that was not passed by law. So, but that's for another day. So just switch off your mic, and then let's hear from Woodley.
Maybe give me a second or two to.
Let please. I will give you some other time, but let the gentleman here also get a chance, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. My name is Sam Gachago, and I'm the chairman of the Woodley Development Initiative. And nataka kusalimia our governor, Governor Sakaja, who I have not seen since he was elected governor. I last saw him in his office in KICC. It is good to see you, Governor. And I'd also like to say hello to Lydia Mathia, who has evaded seeing us for the last 8 months. Governor, it is true that the redevelopment in Woodley has proceeded, but at the moment there seems to be very little activity, and people are asking questions as to what is going on. Number two, I know there were certain problems with people going to court, and out of the 43 people, only 22 or so people were given their 900,000 shillings for relocation. I was approached by a lady who nearly undressed in front of me saying she wants her money. And I asked her, where do I get Governor Sakaja to ask him this question? And it is something that you as a governor need to look at. You need to make a decision as to whether you're going to give the other 22 people who have not received their relocation allowance money, because there are some very elderly ladies who are crying foul because they need to receive this money. Yes, it's true, we did support this redevelopment, and we have been supporting the redevelopment process since 2014. And the fact of the matter is, there would be no Woodley Estate. Woodley Estate had disappeared and was going to disappear. But for the gallant fight that was put up by the residents, we managed to save the estate for the county government. At that time, it was the Nairobi City Council, at great expense and sacrifice. When you come to talking about, I think, is it lot 2, 3, 4, and 5? I think one of the basic things that you should do is inform the community in Woodley what is actually going on, because right now they are wondering, are we going to be taken by surprise? It was not surprise, but it is very it's a sad thing to see people being removed at night. And that is one thing, Governor Sakaja, we don't want to see in the future. We want a structured way of dealing with this. Just like how we would like to see a structured way of dealing with public participation. The redevelopment process is good for the city, but it has to be done with adequate public participation. As you've heard, everybody, most of the other chairmen are crying public participation. So what we are asking you as a governor is to ensure that these public participation meetings are structured in the proper manner. Now, I'd like to deviate, Governor Sakaja, with the permission of the chair,
Go ahead.
to discuss an issue that has been plaguing Woodley for the last 2 months. We do not understand why we are getting threats of eviction from the housing department now and then. And this is creating a lot of disease amongst. I've written to you about that, and I think you have told us to see your chief officer, Miss Mathia, and she has not been available. But we did manage to see Patrick Mbogo, who assured us that they are looking into the matter. And all this is all due to rent arrears and rent anomalies, rent payment anomalies, which all we wanted to do is sit down with the concerned officials and sort out the issue so we can move forward. Otherwise, beyond that, I don't think there's anything very much I can say. It's only to ask the Chief Officer Housing, please, just accord us the opportunity to sit with you. We'd appreciate it very much. And I'm sure the government has told you, the governor, and don't ask me how I know, has told you to do so. So please make sure you do that, and we shall sort things out. Because one of the basic things that we want to discuss with the county is that issue of public participation. You have stated you have 3 more lots, which we do not know of, and we would like to know exactly what you're planning. We had indicated in our proposal that we should form a liaison committee between the county and the developer and the residents. And that would help resolve a lot of issues. So when we have our next meeting with Madam Mathia, I think we shall bring this up, and I'm sure we shall be able to move forward on these issues. Apart from that, Governor, all the other issues with regarding to infrastructures have been spoken of, and you have actually pointed out exactly what the county is doing. And we hope...
Sam, I don't mean to cut you, but I still advise you that you don't address the governor, you address the chair.
Oh,
yes.
I beg your pardon.
Thank you. But continue.
Yes. I was talking about the infrastructural development when you're doing a major redevelopment. You've explained it very well that the county is doing things and is continuing to do so. So I think I don't have much more to say to the governor. All I can do is wish him well. And because you have come to redevelop our estate where we've lived for more than 50 years, please do so with a human heart. Thank you very much.
Senators from the plenary made for by Mr. Sam, do you have any input, question?
Yeah, Chairman, I am quite surprised that Sam Gashago getting this opportunity, all he has to do is to wish the governor well. Because in my office, Honorable Chair, there is a file, this thick, of letters from Sam Gashago and the residents of Woodley. So I was expecting more from you, Sam, but let me address ourselves to the key issues. Because after today, Sam, I don't expect you to write me letters regarding matters that would have been addressed here today.
Okay.
There was a public participation on the 25th of May, 2023. And in fact, on that day, the only public participation that I swung by to see how it is going on was Woodley and Jericho Lumumba. So I want to ask you, as a resident of Woodley, what was the problem with that public participation of 25th May? Did you encounter similar problems to your friends from the East?
Oh, yes. On the 20th, the one that you attended at the social hall. Yes, okay, fine. That one, obviously, basically that public participation, yes, there was everything wrong with it because it was not a public participation for Woodley residents. It was a public participation that included the stakeholders, shop owners, the hawkers, and so forth. So it didn't specifically address the issues concerning Woodley issues. The Woodley issues concerning the redevelopment were beclouded by other issues which did not affect the Woodley residents. It did not come out very well and strongly to bring out the main issues that the Woodley estate residents wanted clarified.
Okay, and secondly, clarify to us, because I think from your evidence today, there are people who are still not compensated. I was under the impression, Governor, that that was complete, but you will clarify in your response. Do you have a sample or a copy of a letter of the allotment letters that the Governor has said all of you have received?
I do have a copy, but not, no, I don't have a copy with me right now.
But have you seen it
I've
yourself?
seen one, yes.
Okay, what does it say generally? What are people getting?
You know, as with an allotment letter, it just specifies exactly that, that one will get a unit.
Do you know the unit, the size, the design, which floor, whatever it is?
No, it's impossible right now because right now, the biggest problem with this redevelopment is that there was no master plan in the beginning. Nobody actually knew exactly what was being built on the ground. And this is what we were clamoring for. And I think you remember very well that we were asking, why can't we get a master plan? Even if it's a master plan for the entire Woodley estate. That has not been forthcoming, and we were promised that last year.
Okay, finally, Chair, on this other issue of rent arrears, I gave you some advice on how to resolve some of these matters. If a county government writes to you threatening to evict you, and they are claiming rent arrears and you have paid and you have evidence of payment, there is a place you go, Sam. Have you guys gone where I advised you to go?
No, we haven't gone that. We haven't gone there.
Why are you putting all your faith with the meeting with the CECs and the CEO?
I think they're human beings. They have a heart and they can listen.
They came to demolish your houses at night. You still trust these people to have that conversation?
No, it's not that they came to demolish. They did demolish the houses at night. And to a certain extent, they had legal recourse to do that because as you heard what the governor is saying is that those are their houses. And the court did say, yes, these are your houses. You can do what you want with them. You understand? Those houses don't belong to us. But you see, what you do is you appeal to the goodness in people instead of appealing to the badness. So I'm appealing to the governor to look at this.
You're hoping that you will appeal to governors and in particular Lydia's goodness.
Not really. No, they are the people who are in charge. Lydia is in charge of housing. This is the governor of Nairobi, right? So we are appealing to them. That's what we can only do. Now, according to what Senator Sifuna told us to do, that is Plan B. If they turn out to be people who cannot be trusted, then we shall move in that direction.
So, your advice was politely rejected, but Senator Wambua.
You know, Chair, from the account of the representative from Woodley, I think then we would be okay in this committee to conclude, from your account, as young people are saying these days, it is boiling well in Woodley, boiling nicely in Woodley. Because the only issue that you have raised is that you want this chief officer to accord you a meeting. And if that's accorded, Woodley, you're okay.
I didn't say that. I just said that we have received, threats of mass evictions coming directly from her office. And I would have thought it would have been a good idea to sit down and talk to her and ask her exactly what is going on. That is my take on the issue.
Okay, lastly, Chair.
Now, in Woodley, okay, not everything is hanky-dory. Not everything is right. You understand? Like I have said, the systematic, the way they go about their public participation meetings is basically wanting. Because even right now you heard that there is, I think, lot 2, 3, 4, and 5, something that we don't know, we haven't heard about it. And I think they're putting the cart before the horse there. Because they should first come and discuss issues like those with the residents so that they know exactly what they're going to put in their EOI and their RFEs and so forth.
Chair, I will still insist that we have to make conclusions on certain issues. So in Woodley, not many issues, but there's the issue of compensation there. Some people are not being given their money. Let's deal facts, not theory. Have you, through the chair, have you seen the allotment letter, or have you received one?
No, I haven't received one because it was being given to only 42 residents who live in an area called Woodley Green.
Who don't even know which houses they are going to get, right?
Which they don't know.
Okay, lastly.
Because 50% of them haven't received the
That's
allotment
okay.
letter.
Lastly,
Yeah.
Chair, lastly, there is a place there that him and Senator Sifuna seem to know about that a lot of us don't know. Sifuna is referring them to some place. He's saying, he wants to appeal to the humanity of the people at the county government. But I get a feeling, Chair, that place could perhaps be the same place that the other residents in the other estates have a hesitation of going for whatever reason. That place only Senator Sifuna can tell us
for
where
the
that
record.
place
Can you just
is.
help us know the place so that Senator Mbo doesn't struggle?
Chair, just to be forthright, as a
Yes,
lawyer,
yes.
I told them that some of these disputes, for instance, the way we've guided our brothers from Lumumba and the other places, a dispute to do with ownership of land, vested correctly in the National Land Commission and even the Lands Court, Environment and Lands Court. So that advice I have given in good faith, both to Woodley and to the other residents to be able to sort out those matters. If a county government or even your landlord threatens you with eviction and you know you have paid rent and you have the evidence, you go to court, you'll get an order stopping it. That is the only place. I wish I had the powers you people believe I have. I wish I was as powerful as you think I am, that I can grab the governor's collar and make him stop threatening you at night. And there is nothing wrong with going to court, because that is where the truth emerges. You state your case, and the county government states their case, and then a resolution is found. So please don't bombard the office of the Senator of Nairobi with matters that are not properly. They would be properly handled in another forum. And don't be shy. If there is an issue of cost, you know me. I am more than generous. I can be able to help you to seek that justice that you want in the courts.
Chair,
I
you just
think
get a clarification from him
Governor,
about maybe the generosity should be just to pay the rent. Ask him about the arrears, including his own.
No, I think
As an example, Chair, if somebody has not paid rent of 10,000 for 10 years, I'm not saying him, but he knows what I'm talking about. For many other people, not you personally, you're living in someone in Kibera is paying 1,000 or 2,000. And when they don't pay, their door is removed, their roof is removed. You're living in a proper house. You're talking about services that you want to receive, but someone has not paid rent for 10 years. Is it fair, Chair? That's why I keep saying, when you come to equity, come with clean hands. The services you're saying you need, you want water, you want your place cleaned, you want garbage collected, yet there are arrears of millions per house. What do we do? And maybe you can also advise us, when people get notices for rent over time and don't pay, do we sing for them? Do we do a poem? What do you do? The law is clear on such things. We're not talking about wrong entries of rent, where people know themselves. When you accumulate a rent of 1.4 million and it's 10,000 per month, how many years are those? And it's not one person, not two people. So I'd love to hear specific cases, but the ones I know, and Sam knows the ones I know, and I will not mention names. It's just people who refuse to pay rent, Chair. Yet they deserve services.
Chair, point of order.
Hello,
Chair.
Senator Sige, wait a minute, just switch off your mic, Sam. I'm going to get back to you.
Chair.
Senator Sige.
Thank you. As I was waiting with bated breath for the governor to give all of his submission at one go, but since he has submitted something now, can he share the things that he's saying that he knows and Sam knows, but us senators, we don't know? So I don't know if it's in order for us to continue while we're in the dark on this side. If he has specific cases of the 1.2 million in arrears, or 2 million, or 500,000, he should also prepare when he is responding to give all that and table it to this committee, rather than us talking in hypotheticals.
Okay. I mean, like, I think what Senator Sige said is very important, because we're not hanging out.
No, what?
Just a minute, I'll give you time, Sam. This Senate is not hanging out. This Senate is having a properly constituted meeting where, as we started this meeting, I told you, we want to make closures on some things. And you see, after everybody representing an estate has talked or presented an issue, you see I've tried to concretize what is it that you want, even where you cannot be able to clearly state that. So, Governor, I don't want you and Sam to have some issues that you're setting there aside that are very substantive that we don't know about. So please...
of course, there are many issues between a tenant and a landlord.
Yeah, but the ones that have been raised here, because what I'm getting from Sam, because I wanted to go to closures, Sam, what I'm getting from you, number one, unlike Lumumba, Ofafa, and the first presenter was Maringo, what I'm getting is that Woodley does not have a problem with the project, first of all. Well, that's what I'm getting, and I might be getting it wrongly. It does not have a substantive project with the conception of the project. Number two, Woodley has gone to the extent of accepting the fact that this project will continue, right? But the eviction are not being done properly. Conversations around public participation, ongoing public participation, are not being done properly. But even the most sensitive one that I've gotten is that there is, in Woodley, a process has begun on allocation compensation. I got that. And that allocation compensation, some people have already received it, which I don't know from the governor's office or from the developer. I wanted to get to know that. But then there is 22 people who have also not gotten that allocation of compensation. And I'm just pointing those issues so that when governor, when you will be responding, you respond to specifics. How do we deal with those 22? Where is this money coming from? And how do you do dignified evictions where there is need to do that, with particularly the case for Woodley? Unless I haven't captured what Sam has said, Senator Chute, I'll give you 1 minute and then I can go to the last estate.
Thank you very much, Chair. My question is very specific and it goes to the Chair, Woodley Estate. Let me say, first of all, I'm very grateful. I'm very thankful that the issue with Woodley and Nairobi County is moving on well, not like Buxton Estate. Then the question comes to, this is a development which has a plan, a drawing, and my question would be, there is something in that agreement that should indicate there is work progress. I want to know if the chair has the work progress and the units that are identified for the 43 members, if I'm not wrong, and also the completion period of that project, if it is in the contract, and if he has a copy of that contract. That includes those 3 items.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I do not have concrete evidence of any allocation letter. I do not know, because I think what they were doing is that they were dealing directly with each individual tenant, and the 22 who signed are the ones who have these documents, and these documents were not given to the rest of us to peruse and see. So that, in terms of knowing exactly what was discussed between the developer, the county, and the tenant, the information we who are outside that 42 is very scanty.
Chair, just a supplementary, kindly.
Senator Asige, please go
Yes,
ahead.
a supplementary to that, to the Chair for Woodley. I believe, Chair, that Sam is here to represent those 22 amongst others, right, in Woodley Estate. So would it be in order to request him to get that information if he doesn't have it, because he's representing them? I'm sure they know that he is sitting here in this meeting today. It would have been great if that documentation was with him now, but can that be received or sought from the 22 so that we can move with concrete data in front of us, Chair?
Governor, take a serious note on that.
But the MOU is in the documents you have, Chairman.
And you will respond.
It is in the documents.
It's part of the response that you'll make. I'm just telling you to take note on those concerns.
Chair, I wanted to give a clarification for the sake of the question that was asked by Senator Asige.
Okay.
For me, from where I sit, the problem between the Woodley residents and the county government is a communication problem. That, Governor, your officers are unavailable or unwilling to sit down with people in the estates and our voters whenever they raise issues. I'm holding here, Chair. There's a letter dated 28th April 2025 that was sent to me by Sam Gashago, claiming they are unable to meet with Lydia Mathia and Mbogo there. I remember giving Mbogo a call, and he assured me that he would have a conversation with them. This is not supposed to be how it is, because everybody who serves in the county government of Nairobi is a public officer. You should be available to have conversations with the residents of Nairobi, especially surrounding such important matters. Personally, the dispute, as I understand it, Senator Crystal Asige, is that there needs to be a reconciliation on how much money Sam is claiming to have paid and what the county government claims to have received, because of the various forms that have of payments that have been there in the city over the years. Somebody claims, I sent money to these live forms, I sent money to this account. When NMS came, there was even greater confusion as to who was receiving money where. Now, that reconciliation cannot happen in the Senate, for heaven's sake. That conciliation is not going to happen in Sifuna's office, which is why, Governor, your officers, I don't have the records, surely, of who has paid rent and who hasn't paid rent. Those records are in the county government. Let these officers make our lives a bit easier. I would like to go a month without receiving a letter from Woodley, please. Or at least if they write to me a letter, let it be inviting me to a bash or something like that. It can't be just the same things over and over. So for me, that is my understanding of the problem. And this is a challenge we will put to the governor. Instruct your officers to be willing to meet with residents.
And Senator Sifuna, I know Governor is itchy.
No.
Governor.
How do you know how my skin is feeling?
Not to respond to this, to what Senator said, but Governor, I think that the issue of communication, I talked about it. I think we saw when Agesa was presenting, we saw when John was presenting, the constant confrontation is lack of engagement. I call it larger engagement, but it's communication problem, and I think that this one can be solved.
I think even civic education, because rent reconciliations are done every single day. They're not done by the chief officer or by a CEC. Today, if you walk in, we have so many tenants. Rent reconciliation is done every day at our customer service center. It's a routine administrative thing. It's not for a meeting with the cabinet or with CECs, you know. But if it's a bulk, I've sent you a document because Senator Sige asked, what do I know that you don't know? I've sent you a schedule of all rent arrears in Woodley. Just peruse, and you will see from the top. You'll understand what is going on.
That's fine. That's in order, Chair.
But
If it's here, but
done
also I
every
would
day.
request the governor, if he's making a verbal submission, that he should refer to his own documents rather than saying, I know and he knows, so that we all can also know.
Like which one?
Anytime you submit, Governor, my request humbly is that you just point us to the specific volume, the page, so that we can also follow.
Yeah, but not everything I say is in a document. You know, we're having a discussion.
That's fine. That's fine.
No, can I just say one last thing?
Just one. Yes, Sam.
Now, I get the feeling that that the governor is just getting back at me for having raised this issue. Yes, because I don't know, but anyway,
Yes, Governor.
I'll give you.
Sam, wait.
Yes.
This is a committee of the Senate.
Yes.
When someone is talking, give them a listening. I will give you time to respond because
Okay, right.
you have got that right. Please don't exchange.
But he's
So
about
please
to-
go ahead. And I also told you, Sam, you're talking through the chair.
Okay,
Don't
okay.
address the governor.
Okay,
But go ahead. I'm listening.
Chair. A case in point, and this is why I brought this up, is that I thought I'd have the list, the governors here, but it's turned out anyway. Anyway, some time ago in 1992, our whole estate was sold. It was sold to non-tenants. And from 1992, we took up the fight to protect our estate. And the government did not come to our aid. The city council did not come to our aid. It culminated in 2019 with a ruling by Justice of Congo declaring any titles given in respect to Woodley Estate as being null and void. You understand? Now, what has happened is there were about 20 odd people who claimed they had bought the houses. So between that time, they were not paying rent because they said they had titles. These are the people he is claiming have arrears of 3, not even 1 million. They have 4 million shillings in arrears. And now to come out and tell that person, pay that 4 million now or else I kick you out, you know, I think it's just not right. You understand? So there is a group of people, I think there are about 15 people, who accumulated because they thought they had bought the houses, they thought they owned the houses. And they even took the county to court on several occasions. But they lost out. Now these people have come to us as the leaders of the community to ask if that is why we were seeking some dialogue with the county. Can we sit down and do a structured, repayment method so that we could pay? Because where is somebody today going to get 4 million shillings from? And he has been a tenant for the past 40, 50 years. You understand? That is why I'm telling you I was appealing to the governor and his people to sit down so that we can come up. I don't think anybody has refused to pay rent. Maybe there may be economic hardship or financial hardships which are creating this kind of situation. The next thing is that there were issues that we had in the 1990s, whereby we were asked by the court to deposit money in court, right? Like I personally I've had deposited 700,000 shillings in court, and that money is never reflected in my invoices that the county sends me. I would like that. I'd like that reconciliation done so I know how much I need to pay. Number two, Governor Sonko in 2018 gave the residents of Nairobi what you call a rent waiver. And this rent waiver was gazetted. After its gazettement, the county then took it up and even wrote a letter saying that we will be paying rents from 2000 and I think 2019, 1st of May. You understand? Now, when we approached the county.
Point of order, Chair.
Yeah.
Yes, Senator
Chair, I think
Chute.
what the chair is saying, I totally agree with him. But what we need to do is he can talk to the county and reconcile those issues, because we cannot do anything now for him here. I think that's the best thing to do. Again, the issue. Sorry? Yeah, yes. Say it.
No, I actually think there's an emerging complexity here that is very important, and I think Senator Sifuna spoke to it slightly, but Senator Sige also brought it out very strongly. Because as I said, I'm taking you back with a blue hat of closure on some issues. It is emerging that this issue of reconciliation is a very serious one.
Chair, you can direct both parties to sit.
Just a moment. You know, as a Senate, these conversations we are also part of it because we are already here. And there are documentation that will come from this Senate. This is why I'm saying that this issue of reconciliation is actually a substantive issue, is because you are seeing a number of reasons that are coming out with people not paying these rents. And remember, the reason why we're having this conversation, ultimately, is that when this regeneration happens, people must be given houses. So there will be questions even of what does the county government do with people who owe you 4 million? And then those houses, do they qualify for those houses? Do they pay first and then get them? So there's that complexity. So that I just want the governor to take note of that issue of reconciliation as a substantive issue of the Senate that must be addressed. That's all I wanted to say. So Sam, I want to cut you there so that I can have the last.
Can I just finish
because
off?
of time, I've given you so much time.
No, just 2 sentences so that you understand.
Okay, please, 1 second.
No, I mentioned to you the issue of the waiver, the rent waiver, which when you go to ask, you're thrown to the Senate. And we are told that the Senate discussed this and they asked the county, if you give this waiver, who is going to pay for this money? So they tell us that that is why they give the issue of rent waiver a wide berth. But for us, we understand this is the gazetted rent waiver is a legal document. So that should be implemented.
Okay, fair enough. Sure. I want to leave that at that. Governor, just take note that that reconciliation with all those complaints that have been mentioned is an important one. I want to give the chair of
Chair, am I able to catch
new.
your eye? Maybe you're not seeing my mic or something. I don't know.
Senator, I'm also trying to just manage time as well. In as much as I think I've been very lenient. I want to give. I think it's a different.
I have a question to ask. Chair, I have a question to ask, if you allow me.
Please go ahead.
Please. You know, we have listened to Sam, and he says he represents the Woodley Development Initiative. Is that right? Do you know of Woodley Residents Association? Woodley Residents Association.
There is no Woodley Residents Association. There's Woodley Residents Welfare Society.
Okay. Yeah. What's the connection between the two?
Which one?
The Development Initiative.
Oh, that. The Woodley Residents Welfare Society was established in 1994. And from 1996 up to 2004, I was a chairman. I've been running Woodley Community Affairs for 28 years. And
in short, do the two associations exist? Do they do the same thing?
I don't know. No,
they don't.
They don't do the same thing. One is anti-redevelopment. They clamor to buy the houses. They want to buy their houses that they're living in.
Right. And the other one?
We support the redevelopment.
Okay. That's okay.
That's okay. I do know that the new Pumwani estate, that's the next, right? I don't think from the briefing that I have, there is a regeneration that is going on. I don't think so. But because they're in the Senate, this is their house, I'll give the chairperson, perhaps just to highlight on some of the issues that you might also be having, related or unrelated, and then you'll allow me to give the governor opportunity to, there's a lot of things that have been raised. Then the governor, I'll give you the opportunity, governor, to respond to some of the issues that you might see fit. And then we as Senate will give you some resolutions to take home. Which estate are you from?
From Jericho, but we have one very important question to the governor that has not been mentioned.
I'm coming back to you. Let me just finish with
Thank you.
With New Pumwani. New Pumwani, I'm going to give you half the time. Just 5 minutes, kindly.
Okay, thank you so much. And I beg for your indulgence to the esteemed House Committee and the Executive.
Just a minute. Sam, kindly switch off your mic.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, thank you. Now, in respect to, okay, sorry, Jackson Lee Muturi Kimani, the chairperson, California State Residence Committee, New Pumwani Estate. In respect to New Pumwani Estate, it's more so to do with the petition that we raised in the year 2023 to the attention and to the office of the executive, that is the governor. Now, it's best that we understand why and how we were informed to take that course of action. The issue of redevelopment, as rightly pointed out, started in the year 2018. And New Pumwani Estate was among the estates that were earmarked back then. That was under Rail Plan Consultants. We underwent a very comprehensive 2-year consultative forum with the Rail Plan Consultants. That was a public participation. And there is a document, a very voluminous document that was published in the year 2019 with a report and the findings and the conclusion in respect to New Pumwani Estate. If you'll give me time, I'll just read an excerpt of, it is a final plan report, Urban Renewal Plan, Volume 2, that was submitted in the 19th of September 2019. In respect to New Pumwani Estate, the proposed land use for New Pumwani largely retains the existing land use structure. The housing developments in New Pumwani are being retained. The proposed redevelopment approach is thus renovation. And we were comfortable with that findings, and we were comfortable with that conclusion, and there was no issue. But we were taken aback when in the year 2021, we just came across an advert published by the then Nairobi Metropolitan Services indicating that California is part of the Urban Regeneration Program, and we are scheduled to have a public participation meeting on the 17th of February 2021, Pumwani Social Hall. We were taken aback because there is a document which is freely downloadable, which was even tabled in the Nairobi City County Assembly back then. So we said, no harm, let us go and find out what is going on. There was no public participation. We were just informed. Go prepare yourself, we are coming to redevelop. So the course of action we took at that time, we wrote several objection letters to several ministries, and I think I was able to submit most of those copies to this esteemed house back then when we were in this session. Now, it was like bulldozing this agenda. And the questions we are asking, what was the purpose and intention of having a comprehensive 2-year public participation forum, not just engaging the entity, but a consultant? And I'm sure a consultant is not just Penimbili. Those people are paid a lot of money. Now, out of these fears, whereby we have evidence that they are attempting to redevelop California, But we don't have any evidence that New Pumwani Estate, California, has been removed from that listing up to date. I'm surprised that during the presentation of the clerk, they stated that they have a document stating that California is no longer under redevelopment, but we, as the affected persons, we don't have such a documentation. So that is what informed us to draft the petition.
Very, very well said.
Yes.
There are two issues
Yes.
that I'm seeing, but I understand as perhaps to chime in on what you've just raised. But there are two issues that I've heard from you. Number one is whether or not you are part of the program.
Yes.
Okay? Governor, you can take note of that. But I also wanted to know whether or not you want to be part of the program. Those are two different things. As an association, you want to establish whether or not you are part of the program, and if so, where are you standing in this understanding? Is it a future engagement and all that? Governor can answer that. But one of the issues that have come from a number of associations, as you have heard here, is also the hesitance of being in part of the program. So from your own view, what is the status report from your residents? Do they feel like this is something that they welcome, but they would want to engage more? Or is there a problem even with the conception of the regeneration program?
Okay, thank you, Chair. Now, to begin with, we are skeptical. We have our own fears, and we raised our own fears, because we asked ourselves, New Pumwani Estate, unlike other estates, it has its own challenges. That is the proximity to that military installation, and those were technicalities that knocked out New Pumwani Estate from the word go. So we said we cannot sanctify an illegality, because public participation are now used to sanctify illegalities in this Republic of Kenya. So we said we are not going to be part of it. We are not comfortable with this program. The way it is being implemented, you have, all these estates have raised issues, and there are issues which have weighty concerns, and we asked ourselves, if a consultant certified that these buildings, they're fairly modern. Number two, these buildings, according to the architect, they say that optimum land use has been done to the maximum. Number three, if it in terms of the structure, they're very sound, more than any other estate that Nairobi City County government owns in the in this Nairobi City County. Number four, and they're very, they said, the report said, fairly modern, which means they all require renovation. Recently, in the year 2017, they were repainted. Just that one factor of being repainted, they almost looked new. So that's why we said, why don't we then own? We don't want to own them for free, because we don't want to affect, there's that, the financial aspect of the financial bill with the county government. If you do something that will be contrary to, which will affect their budget making processes, it will be negative to us. So we said, why don't we now then convert the existing rent? We don't backdate. Existing rent, we start a new chapter, convert it into mortgage, convert it into TPS. They have the enabling legislation, because in New Pumwani Estate, we have TPS flats, which are intertwined.
So you want to do that to own in the current status or to own in the development? No,
we own in the current status as they are.
I think your point is home. I want to give senators, if perhaps they have got concern on that. But Governor, there is an issue there of value for money that Kimani, right, is trying to bring out, that there is feasibility studies that have been done. There is a contractor who was engaged. There was 2-year public participation on the renewal of the new Pumwani estate. So at what point did it get expunged from this program, and what then becomes of the costs that were incurred in those processes? I think that's a substantive question that you can respond to at that time. What's your name again? Duncan, yes, from Ofafa, right?
Yes, from Ofafa, Jericho.
Ofafa, Jericho.
Yes, and...
Just literally under 1 minute because you're pressed of time and I've given you so much time as an estate.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you, Chair.
Chair, kindly, please. Chair,
Who is talking?
Jackson Kimani. I just had one more issue to raise, please. Kindly, I beg for your indulgence. Final,
I'm really pressed of time.
Yes, I understand.
But I'm going to give you 30 seconds.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, in respect to now the final report that your clerk presented when she was doing the update status, in her records, she has a document which she said is not signed. We went for a meeting. There are no minutes of the meeting. There are no signs. There's no attendance sheet, which says that Nipumani Estate is no longer in the redevelopment. But unfortunately, with me here physically, I have a document that states otherwise. So I'm asking. So
what is the otherwise? What is the otherwise? Just state it. What is the otherwise? Just state it.
There is a document that was drafted by County Secretary and Head of County Public Service, which states that urban renewal will henceforth schedule engagement between the county officers and yourselves through a public participation forum on the redevelopment project as well as development of projects proposals for request of proposals to eligible and qualified developers. This was done 3rd of September 2024.
Well taken. The committee takes note, and I hope the governor also takes note. Duncan?
Thank you, Chair. My question is to the governor because at the last session on the 18th of March, he's on the query as to whether they had title to the land of Fajerico, Lumumba, and Maringo. He said they didn't have, but they have a reservation. Now it has been presented to you that we have a dispute with the MCCG at the NLC. So the question comes up: how did they get a reservation that the NLC doesn't know about, yet it is the reserving body as per the Constitution?
Okay.
Then, just to correct Madam CCO, she's saying contractors are the ones who will enable public participation. I want to correct her and inform her to check Section 114 of the County Government Act that expressly states public participation is mandatory for any development of nationally significant value. Any. So it is not for contractors to bring about public participation. It is for them who have the project in hand as the county government to bring the public participation to the people.
Very well.
And just one more.
I gave you 1 minute, remember, because
Please, I
you know
understand.
all the issues that you're raising had actually been raised.
Just one more.
And I noted them from your chair. So they were actually all conversed. In fact, if I'm fair, I should actually be giving that a minute to a lady.
Let me just give him the final one. Please be very brief.
Very brief.
Need answers.
Very brief. There is, because of lack of public participation, we don't have MOUs, we don't have anything. Okay. So we must start from there.
Thank you, Duncan.
Thank you.
I think it would be very unfair for these residential representatives to come here and the amazing ladies who have come with you, and I've just listened to all your leadership being men. I want to give an opportunity to any lady who is among the residentials who might have a word or two or a concern to raise before I come back to the governor. I really want to hear Ama. Yes, I really want at least one voice to be represented. But at least I gave the opportunity.
Chair.
Oh, just a moment. Who is that saying, Chair? Oh, please, go ahead.
Okay, the last time we had a meeting with the county, with the...
You say your name and where?
Sorry, my name is Kezia Kihara. I'm treasurer at the Marigo Tenants Association. So the last time that we had a meeting with the county planning committee, it was resolved that they put forward a name for Varoya, and as we give, but to resolve the issue of ownership, but to date they haven't given the name. Also, Chair, we would like the county or the governor to tell us or to put it clear. Like in Maringo, there was a time they came, Kiboi came and he posted letters on our walls, on our windows, that people to come and present documents to City Hall. And a few people came, and those are the 74. So we are wondering, is that the, okay, they called it a public participation. Is that the evaluation of the tenants, or how are they going to give, okay, they are saying they are going to give us the house or the units. So is that the list that they are going to use, or so they have the list of the 310 people that that we own the 310 houses in Maringo?
Thank you so much, Kezia, and thank you for representing the voices that really. I'm going to give the governor opportunity to respond to these issues. Governor, try and make it as concise as you can. I know there's a lot of pressure. You did. There's a lot of issues that have been raised.
There are many issues.
But I'm giving you the time, and then we'll see how we go from here.
Chair, I've listened to issues for quite a number. They want answers, and it will be wrong for me not to answer what has been raised. Chair, let me start by thanking the residents' associations and the representatives of tenants for this discussion. It's a very important discussion because, Chair, the county government has a mandate to execute what is within its functions in the 4th schedule. And the county government will execute its mandate. So long as it is lawful, the county government will execute its mandate to the people of Nairobi. The first thing I must say, Chair, county property, because I've had somebody saying the issue of trustees, that we're only trustees, it is true. The county government holds all the property in trust for the people. Not the people of Jericho or the people of Woodley, but the people of Nairobi in their entirety. If the people of Nairobi, through their delegated responsibility, want Woodley to become a stadium, all of it, it will become a stadium. Or if they want a change, if there's a different plan, the people of Nairobi, if there are 2,000 more people who want to come and live where there are 20, and it is legal, we have the power to execute that. That we must get very clearly, Chairman. Number two, I've had many questions, and I don't know where Gashago has gone to. He's here. About not having seen me. When we invite you for meetings and you don't come, and it's the same with many of them. I don't know where else we need to be seen, because we've invited these chairs for meetings. I personally invited Jericho for a meeting on the 7th of April to meet me, not anybody else. If I read you the contents of that letter, just open it. The content of the letter is for a public participation forum and engagement with Hechi, the governor. That was the letter we wrote. But, Chair, we have a problem where the leadership of these associations do not want us to associate with the people directly. And you need to know that we can associate with the people directly and also through you. There are tenants. A landlord can engage with the tenant at any time. Chair, that meeting was turned into chaos. The people in this room who came to stop it, there were placards, they brought goons. We just kept quiet. We have sent another letter because, Chair, what they're going to do is to prevent their residents from actually getting what the government is offering. What we're doing is an offer. You know, we're offering that this is what we're going to redevelop this place. You should, partner with us, take this amount of money, go, and then once you're out, when you come back, you'll receive your property. It is not mandatory for us to do that, Chair. It is not at all. If you look at the national projects, people are being given a small amount and with no guarantee at all. You're being given a guarantee and a title and a house, Chair. So I think that magnanimity, or maybe that's the wrong word, but the goodwill being extended by the county government must be responded to, Chair. Chair, the letter was dated 3rd April. To Jericho Estate tenants, each tenant got this letter. As you may be aware, the county intends to redevelop most of the old estates, etc. The governor recognizes your very important role in this process as key stakeholders and invites all tenants of Jericho Estate for public engagement for a Monday, 7th April, Charter Hall. That's an invite. How else, when they keep saying no public participation, how else do you want public participation? When you're invited by the governor himself and you don't attend. Yeah? When Gachagua invited Woody residents, you didn't come. Yourself. I don't know how else. Sorry, let me not do that. But
please, I had cautioned that we don't exchange, and Governor, you know the rules of the House.
So, Chair, there are many instances where we've invited the chairs for engagement, but you've heard very well what one of the chairs has said, that when these committees were formed, the county or NMS then was supposed to engage only through that committee. Chair, that is completely wrong. Even in terms of us as representatives, Article 1 says that the people are the sovereign power is with the people and they can exercise it directly. You cannot then be a group of people blocking us from our tenants and from the residents.
Governor, can I just find out, why not have that meeting in Jericho?
Because people who are not residents of Jericho will come.
I thought the residents are there. If you want to meet directly with them, you go there.
You cannot have a controlled meeting there. And I would ask you to try.
You are a government. I have had a meeting there. I went there when they had kicked out the officers, and we actually had a meeting.
Chair, we can meet them wherever. You see, they were kicked out. In fact, when the chair was speaking, he said, we did not allow anybody else from the county government to speak. Chair, City Hall is theirs also. We can meet them anywhere, Chair, that we deem fit to.
No, I was just following your train of thought about direct engagement. And this is my advice.
You
are a government. You have kicked out people from markets. You have enforcement officers. You can have a meeting in Jericho.
I hear your suggestion, but it's a decision that we have to make.
Okay, it's a recommendation. It's a recommendation. I'll be available for that meeting.
We can
invite me.
And Chair, we can find 10,000 people there. It is okay. We will engage. We're also politicians, Chair. We're a government, but we're also very astute politicians in this city. And Chair, for as many people as you hear representing here saying they're not for a project, you have an equal number saying they're for the projects. You have an equal number as those you've called. In fact, if you do another meeting next Tuesday, I can get representatives from the same estates to come and say that they want it to start. So at what point, Chair, does public participation stop and does the government execute? Because if you wait for 100% concurrence on any project, you will not do it. You will never do it. That is by, just generally. If we waited for 100% concurrence on Woodley, we would not have moved. In fact, if there was a need for concurrence in 1949 for these estates to be developed, they would not have been developed. Because there were people there who didn't want it. The people of Nairobi are 7 million people. If they feel a need for housing, 1,000 people in one estate or 200 people will not stop it. So long as it is being done lawfully, Chair, we will go on. Let me go to the specific questions. New Pumwani, I've had the petition on the issue. I just want people to understand, when you're a tenant and the courts have set a precedent, the court has ruled on it, you are a tenant, the landlord can do whatever they deem fit with that property, provided he's doing it within the law. When you talk about county assembly approval, it's a county assembly that has approved all these projects in the CIDP. The county integrated development plan has listed these projects. So the county assembly has approved. Once you approve a budget in Senate, for instance, does the CS come for each and every single project to seek a motion to approve? No. But you've approved the medium-term economic framework, you've approved the budget policy statement, projects are inside the BPS, and that is how it was approved. And they've said they've had engagements even with NMS, even before NMS. So I just want to disabuse the notion of no public participation. The meetings, and there's a schedule here you have in your folders, of 25th, is it 25th February or 25th what? May 2023. It was a public advertisement. It was on all the papers. It was posted in all these estates. If you choose not to attend, you cannot say there was no public participation. And in those public participation meetings, we have the video. We can share video. We can share. Because we have our media team that records those meetings. Even the press comes to those meetings. So you cannot say that public participation will only happen the way you feel it should happen as an individual. The people were very happy. In fact, if you look at our report, we have verbatim what people said word for word in those meetings. The questions that people, please allow me.
Just 1 minute, Governor. No, just a minute.
May I just request that we let the Governor present.
Just a minute, Chair. Because, Governor, we had been guided that we need to follow the submissions with the documentation you have given us. In fact, I want to refer you to your report, that public participation report, and we had covered this last time, and you had promised to make some corrective measures. I don't want you to feel like I'm interrupting your flow of thought. If you look at the public participation report submitted by yourself in Lumumba, for instance, it is at page 31 of your report on public participation. It is clear what the residents told you, and they say, your own remarks there say the objective for this public participation was not met. And if I can run your memory a bit, in the last meeting we had, you made a commitment yourself that you will engage these residents of Lumumba, the residents of Jericho,
yes,
as many times as possible.
Yeah.
So is it really fair from that perspective of your own report to say that there has been effective public participation, at least in Lumumba?
But Chair, I've just explained that I then further invited them for a meeting. Part of what could have caused it not to be effective would have been the venue. But I invited them to come to Charter Hall, and residents came, but they were being stopped by the leadership. They came, but they were being blocked. They were being threatened. Those who would sign the register were being threatened. Chair, let me just tell you, under no uncertain terms, will anyone come in between us and the residents of the city? No one. No one. No individual. No individual. Just because you've been elected as a chair, you're holding that position also in trust for these people. The people who've come directly to us saying, please, we want to sign this thing. This thing has taken too long. Our people, I don't want another deal behind, I don't know what it is. But no individual, you cannot create, I don't want to call it brokers, but you cannot create another layer between us and our tenants. The tenants pay rent directly. There's no tenancy agreement that recognizes an association. These associations were formed by the county to make things easier, not things more difficult. You know, so Chair, that one, under no uncertain terms will we do that. So let me go to specifics. New Pumwani, and that's what I was explaining, and the senator came in. Some of it is TPS, tenant purchase scheme. The county government is your landlord. The courts have pronounced themselves, Bonagashago, that the county government can make a determination based on its plan where it sees this thing going. You know, that in the next 20 years, possibly, we need to bring down even those houses and build a hospital. If that is a decision we make through our cabinet, through our whatever processes in the county government, it will be made. People should not be entitled to these houses. Even if I was living in that, if I'm living in a house today that is not mine, it has a landlord, I will listen to what he's saying so long as I have my rights